And hello, everybody. Welcome to the Plug Talk Sports live show. This is episode 197. Happy Monday to everybody. We got Brandon, who just got mid sneeze. We got Blake is in the house. We got Jonka, of course, myself, Danny Torres. This is our final episode of the month of August. And next week, there will be no show as it's Labor Day. So we're going to have a nice Monday night off. So after this, we'll be back in 2 weeks. But we are close to beginning NFL season. NFL preseason is wrapped up, getting closer to the MLB playoffs, closer to the MLS playoffs, closer to hockey. College football is back. Sports is finally back after that dreadful couple summer months that we always have without just baseball pretty much. But we're back. We're firing on all cylinders. So it's gonna be a fun one. We have some fun topics tonight, and we're gonna start with one that there's a lot of takes on it. But if you guys did not see last week, Inter Miami hosted the Los Angeles Galaxy at Chase Stadium, in which head coach Javier Mascherano got a red card, and then proceeded up to the. So Inter Miami's Chase Stadium, right above the field and the tunnel entrance, has these loge seats for VIP members. And Javier Mascherano goes there and sits there after his red card. And he's clearly giving instructions to his team and players. And he gets caught on the broadcast on his cell phone. And people were like, Taylor Twellman was on the broadcast. He's like, I wonder who he's talking to. They pan out, and his assistant is on the touchline with the phone like this, listening. And all you hear is Taylor Twellman go, oh, boy. How nothing came out of this shocks me. I mean, the red card, he won't be able to coach the next match. This was actually not against the LA Galaxy, but Tigres in the Leagues Cup. So he will not be able to coach Wednesday night against Orlando City in the Leagues Cup. But how there was not more punishment to this, I've never seen this without any further punishment. The Leagues Cup said that one of their representatives said that it was okay for him to be there, which, fine, if he was okay to be there, but he was clearly giving instruction to his team still. So he's still coaching. So how I just, a lot of people start saying the rules are different for Miami compared to other teams. I believe so at times. It wasn't to the MLS when we had this whole all-star debacle of Messi and Jordi Alba missing the all-star game. It wasn't until the MLS was pressured into taking some sort of action to suspend Messi and Alba for one game. I just think this is absolutely ridiculous, and it looks really bad. I think it's a really bad look. And then Mascherano actually got into it with the media at training this past week when they pressured him on this topic, and it was a good back and forth with the media. He tried defending himself in it and pretty much said that the media is just making a whole big scandal about this.
I thought it was hilarious. I thought this was basically like, and I'm not saying that Inter Miami's gone to the point where like it's comedy at this point, some of the antics that they do. But I mean, we've seen earlier with the Gonzalo Higuain, pointing at the ball when he's right ahead of the ball. We've seen this type of stuff from Inter Miami. But from the coaching sideline, though, I thought when Tata was here, I thought maybe we see something like this. But for the current manager, that was the funniest thing. The funniest thing. I'm pretty sure there's other times in sports where something like this happened where a coach gets ejected and quietly, disguises himself going into the back in the dugout or something like that. But, man, I just love this, man. I just love, like, how this is going to be now franchise lore, So
it says here, and I'm reading it straight off of the website for Leagues Cup, using unauthorized electronic or communication equipment and or behaving in an inappropriate manner as a result of using electronic or communication equipment is 1 to 3 match suspension. So that being said, why are we not punishing him? It says it there clearly right in the rule book.
Well, what I'll also ask is because obviously the broadcast noticed it pretty easily.
Yeah.
But when did the league itself notice? Was it during the match? It was it like, basically hours after? I think that's another part about, when do they punish him?
Yeah.
I think it's a weird subject because, we were talking last episode about the Michigan situation.
Yep.
And I brought up the Houston Astros, how I never had a problem with the Houston Astros. I was trying to, when I saw the message with this topic, I started trying to look up on the MLS website, the League Cup website, the exact rule behind, is he allowed to be in the stands and shout, or is he just being removed from the field of play, or is he not allowed to do any of it? That's what I couldn't find that exact rule in writing. So I didn't, that was what my question was. Is he allowed to be in the stands doing it, or is that just the red card, just a removal from the field of play? Do you guys know?
So listen, knowing Chase Stadium well,
very well.
there is a booth up top that is reserved for players that are not on the match squad list that can sit up there to watch the game. And of course, there is a space for any player or coach who is sent off with a red card. And usually when a player or coach gets a red card, you're immediately going to the showers, you're going to the locker room, and you're watching the game from there. So I have seen coaches or players that take their position in a suite and just watch the game from there. But this was a whole different situation where a coach decides to sit in VIP section seating and is still influenced.
Barking orders.
Yeah, Benjamin Kramaschke was going to get subbed into the game, and this guy turns around and looks up and is taking instructions from his coach. I mean, doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of getting the red card? He's still coaching in the game. So if he's still allowed to coach in the game, why take back the red card?
Yeah. I feel like the why it's so weird, the situation. I think it's because it's so unique.
Yeah.
Because it's like instead of going to the lounge or the locker room or just going home all by itself, he just had to do his own thing, go rogue, and just sit in the VIP section and then coach from there. I think the MLS should have at least addressed it in the moment, because there's no way you're going to be missing Marciano in VIP section and you don't see him. So either like Blake said, I was looking too, Blake. I was just like you. I was looking for a certain rule where it said that he couldn't be on the field or he couldn't be in the stands or in a certain section or just away from the entire stadium at all, or he had to leave. I couldn't really find anything personally, but I think it's a very weird place that Marciano's in, especially that he's never coached before or managed before a team. I think we're seeing it now where he's not a manager per se. Obviously, we can't call him a manager now. We can't because that's his title. But I think he's playing it as like a player and not as a manager. And I think this is why this is a first time for us seeing this, which is why we're having the reaction we are, because this is so weird. And I don't even know how do I even address this, because it's like I don't even know how to explain it. The guy is screaming on the phone, pointing in the middle of the field, like, hey, I don't even know. It's probably in Spanish or something.
I think we're seeing this is more of an issue with the MLS rule book than.
I actually found it here.
Oh shit! That was fast. That was what the hell? I looked it up for like 30 minutes.
Hey man, listen, I know this league. I've worked in this league. I know this league like the back of my hand. During a red card to any player or coach, they are not permitted to be in the following areas: stadium tunnel, locker rooms, or field level areas for 90 minutes or whatever the rest of the match is. And they are not permitted to communicate with the team.
Yeah. Okay. So then it's a clear-cut rule. Then it should I think, and I want to hear what you guys think is. I think then you can easily throw a 2-game ban on him in the League Cup, and a fine for the team and for the fine for himself.
But I would also think, because was it proven that he's discussing on the phone with coaches on the sideline? Was that proven? Is it proven that he was barking orders? You cannot prove it. It's like the Michigan man thing. It's the Michigan thing.
I mean,
Can we prove?
Harvey Specter here, bro. Harvey Specter.
Maybe he's calling his mom in the 60th minute. We don't know what he's going on now.
He's complaining to Leo on the phone.
He's saying Suarez is far enough up the pitch to his mom.
I like the way you're thinking, Brandon.
When Kramaski's looking straight at him and he is directing him, that's pretty evident and clear to me.
Hey, Kramaski's like, I don't even think he's like even 20. You know what I mean? If I'm in that situation as a youth and I'm like, coach, oh, my bad. You know, like I'll be in awe, just like, what the hell is going on? You know?
I think for the outcome and how weird this is, and it's his first time as a manager, and I guess he didn't really understand the rules in that situation. I mean, hey, it's Inter Miami, bro. We can't be surprised at anything at this point. I think they should fine him.
You're telling me a man that played in the top leagues in the world as himself as a player is not going to know the rules?
Hey,
You'd be shocked.
Some leagues have rules, bro. Some leagues have rules.
I think it's pretty self-evident worldwide, no matter what league, that if you get a red card, you're not permitted to be. You see, this is what bothers me, man. You guys need to be clear here, man. You guys are making a lot of excuses for the guy.
I'm just saying, there's got to be a reason.
And I like the way Brandon's thinking. Brandon's thinking like a lawyer, bro. He's like, can you possibly tell me, did you record the phone call? Where is it? I don't know.
Did the official overhear him speaking to his staff? Did he overhear?
I love
it. I would also push. But I would also push. I think it'll be even more hilarious if Jorge Mas and David Beckham were just like, use my suite, no problem. Like, what if that was their suite? And they're like, bro, these guys can't coach. You got to go out there. No, but I got a red card. But they brought him out.
He just has a giant whiteboard he's holding up over his head.
I think he should be fined.
Yeah.
1-game suspension, and then be given a warning that the next time, if he does it again, he will be suspended for an indefinite amount of time. And then it will be to the MLS's ruling to see how long it will be. Since this is his first offense, I think that would be the correct.
I'm giving him a fine.
It's the rules. Like, I got to be understanding now. I'm not going to be biased. I got to say it as it is.
I'm going to give him a fine. I'm going to give him a 2-game suspension because he's already serving 1 for the red card. So you got to give him 1 for the action.
Okay, I agree with that. Actually, I'm changing it. I'm changing it to 2.
They asked him in this scuffle that he had with media, if another coach did that, would you be okay with it? And he was like, no, I wouldn't be okay with it, but I'm allowed to make mistakes once in a while. And I'm like, oh, brother, listen, if any other coach in this league were to do that, it's an immediate fine and 2-game suspension. But since this team is the moneymaker and the cow cash grab for Leagues Cup and MLS, they have to keep them in. They have to keep their main guys in, and especially their coach. So the punishment is going to be a slap on the wrist, and nothing's going to be done about it.
I don't understand why organizations do this. I think it shows what the top of the organization's the issues are, where Javier Mascherano is a first-time manager, and he's going to – I think we can say globally the biggest club in the MLS is Inter Miami just because of Lionel Messi being there. It's almost like when the Brooklyn Nets put Steve Nash as the head coach when they got KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. Like, you have massive personalities and these massive figureheads of Jordi Alba, Sergio Busquets, Suarez, Messi all in a room. That's before Rodrigo de Paul even just got there. Like, that, you need someone that, even if they're not the best tactician, there's a man manager at least in there. And then you bring in a first-time guy and he's going, oh, I can make mistakes. I'm new to this. It happens. I wouldn't be okay if he did it. Like what? Like is he having an argument with his girlfriend talking about it? Like,
Hey, that is the Jason Kidd of the MLS you're talking about, though. That is the hit me and getting the free timeout type of coaching staff that we need right now for MLS soccer and Inter
guess.
Miami. So I mean, I like it. Again, adds a little lore to the team. You know what I mean? So a little good storytelling, a little good Jeopardy question down the line.
My problem with it is that if you're going to do that to them, then make sure the treatment is the same for everyone else in the league. Because I guarantee you that this happened to another team, that coach right now would be serving a 2-game suspension plus a fine. I guarantee you that. 1,000%. I would be willing to put my money on that. And for me, that's preferential treatment.
Yes, and I also would say as well, if it was against an MLS team, I think that's when the MLS would be more, of an advocate of let's not do this. You know what I mean? Like for example, let's say LAFC was the opponent and this happened. Immediately the next day, I'm pretty sure. But in Leagues Cup, when you're going to Liga MX, all out the window.
We got to talk about this Leagues Cup, though, because how fair is it actually that every MLS team for their 3 games get home games and Liga MX has to play away for every single match?
It is unfair. It is unfair.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
Well, I have a question because we've talked about you and I because we both I watch in the Prem and you're a huge soccer fan and been in the sport. Like at the FA Cup that like Chelsea will have to play like Huddersfield. Chelsea will never go to Huddersfield because they can't, like, the grounds isn't good enough to support a club like that just for the fans jumping all over them. I think that might be the issue for it. But
I mean, Mexico's got some big stadiums and they've got some money behind that.
Yeah, but it's not as good for Kansas City though.
I think I don't want to get the whole show political here, but I think it's because of what's going on with the deportations and stuff. I think that's why they're kind of putting that
fake news. Stop. No, okay.
This man just brought up.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, with everything was going on with the border right now, I think that's one of the things that they're kind of like eyeing at. If you're going to send Americans to the game, and they don't know that area, and apparently, like, all that stuff. I'm not going to get into it, but I think that's an issue that they're dealing with. Why they're not having games over there? That's my opinion.
Well,
it's a money thing. Let's be honest.
It unvalidates your point because the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which is between pretty much teams in Mexico and the U.S., our teams are playing over there. So it just cancels out everything you just said.
Hey, we're talking about Leagues Cup, not CONCACAF.
But you just said, because the deportation issues, our teams can't go over there. We don't want to send our teams over there. But they just did for CONCACAF Champions Cup. Again,
CONCACAF, Leagues Cup. There's two different teams, 2 different companies.
They're
2 different everything.
Both CONCACAF. This is a CONCACAF organized event.
Remember, everything is about money.
It's a money grab. They can put MLS clubs can put butts in seats still, and the owners can get money in their pockets.
I don't know. I don't think Liga MX. I'm telling you, Liga MX brings in money.
Yeah, but it's the MLS owners that want the money, so they want to sell their seats more.
Then why didn't we just do that from the first place when they created Leagues Cup?
I don't know, man. I wasn't around then.
That's the Leagues Cup.
I'm telling you, man. I just, you guys, your points are crazy. Man. Anyways, talking about changing things around, the MLB wants to go on a possible realignment, getting rid of American League and National League. Commissioner Rob Manfred has publicly tied league expansion to geographical realignment. He believes that adding teams could reduce player travel, improving scheduling, and making postseason formats more attractive to broadcasters, particularly by creating East versus West conference matchups. Nashville and Salt Lake City are seen as frontrunners for expansions. Others in the mix are Portland, Charlotte, Orlando, Montreal, and Austin. Additional possibilities is San Antonio and Mexico City. having a baseball team, and this would be like the NBA, NHL, and MLS style, a Eastern and Western Conference. So that means the Marlins would be in there with like the Tampa Bay Rays. They would be in there obviously with the Atlanta Braves. Things like that. I mean, the Phillies would probably be with the Yankees or the Red Sox. How do you guys? I mean, look, I just think Rob Manfred and the MLB are just doing anything possible to see if viewership rises for baseball.
I think it would cut travel a lot for the teams. It would cut a lot of traveling, bro. Like Yankees, Red Sox, Phillies, Mets. I think you gotta add one more. Forgot what the other one is, but
Phillies would probably be like the Orioles.
oh yeah, Baltimore.
So-
Yeah, it would be Baltimore.
I got
Bro,
them
that would be a
here.
crazy division, bro.
For
Dang.
example, we would have the East would be the Yankees, the Mets, the Red Sox, and the Phillies. And for example, the North would be Blue Jays, Tigers, Guardians, and Pirates. And then like a Mid-Atlantic, South, Great Lakes, Midwest, Southwest, and West region. And there'll
Hey,
be
whatever-
all rivalries.
Whatever get the Phillies away from us. That's all I care about.
Please.
As long as the Marlins don't have to do multiple series against the Phillies or the Mets, screw the Mets. That's all
Or
I
the
care
Braves.
about. So I do, or the we won the other day. So, but the only thing I would also say though, in a sense of expansion, because I feel the same way when it comes down to NBA as well. Why are we trying to include Mexico or Canada to add on? You know what I mean? Not saying that
Yeah.
Mexico City won't be a place of like interest. Obviously, it's going to be a place of interest for the baseball culture of the city. But man, how many other places in the U.S. are like baseball hotbeds? You know what I mean?
It's not many.
Like, not many, but I can also imagine there's some like untapped things in the middle of the country. You know,
That's what I was thinking with this
in
whole
the
thing
middle
was,
of the country.
Yeah.
If you went out of your way, and I understand like Kansas City's already been taken. You know, if you want to go out of your way and be like, you know, the Omaha Dusters or whatever, you know, I mean, Nebraska is known just for collegiate athletics, you know, and I'm not talking about the program. I'm talking about the state. And there's a lot of places like that throughout the U.S. If you push for a professional league in these places that are like advocates for athletics on the collegiate level, imagine the professional level. So that's what I would argue for that expansion wise. But yeah, I mean, as long as Philadelphia and Bryce Harper stay away from the Marlins, you know, as long as we don't have to deal with anybody even close to us, hell, I would take Tampa majority of the time of the year. I would love to just do a quick car ride for road games. I would love to do that. So I like this whole idea.
I think one thing I found very interesting was with the whole realignment, and that's what I thought of because, you know, like growing up, at least for me, it was, oh, why do we play in the same division as a team from New York? But then there's another New York team in a different division, a different conference. I always thought that was just a little weird. But I feel like it brings that hatred in baseball, that your crosstown rivals right there. You play each other multiple times a year. You're there all year with them. And I feel like that adds that rivalry, that brings it in more. Like how the Steelers and Ravens hate each other. They're right next to each other, like on the map. If you look at it, like it's like how long? Like a 50-minute drive, I think, to each stadium. I could be wrong, but it's not that far. And I think it would be awesome to expand the middle of the country with, because then these fans wouldn't have to be in a, you know, like how the Memphis Grizzlies in the NBA are a Western Conference team in Tennessee. Like, if we make it so the divisions are, no, these are the 4 teams or 5 teams you're closest to, then guess what? The fans can start building rivalries over time that grows better than, like, the Marlins hated the Nats my whole life because Ryan Zimmerman used to kill us. Like, I was never going to go to a Marlins Nats game in Washington. I can't go there. It's a 4-hour flight.
I mean, a team that a city that I would personally be interested in, bro. New Orleans, bro. Like there's a football team, bro. Like, why not have a baseball team, bro? Like, it would be nice.
I'd say Nashville or Columbus, Ohio.
I like Columbus.
I feel like Nashville
Columbus
would
is
be good with baseball.
Yeah. See, I wish we had that conversation when realignment was going on in college football.
Yeah.
Because that's how people. And off topic, but what is Oregon doing playing in New Jersey? So that's the exact same argument I have with the MLB. Like, what is Miami being rivals for a team out in Philadelphia? You think it'll be like Phillies Pirates nonstop, bickering, things like that.
I agree.
So, and I mean, again, the Marlins, very young franchise in MLB. Their most, I would have to say, closest rivalry in the division is Atlanta. The second closest rivalry to the franchise is probably the Yankees. I can't even tell you a moment where it's like, oh my gosh, Phillies, Marlins, this is going to be a series. Oh my gosh, this is going to, there's no real rivalries in that. And there's other teams that are like that where, yeah, they're in the division, but it's nothing else crazy. There's only a hand number of teams in my top of my head I can think divisional wise in MLB that are like rivals. So I think this would add on.
Dodgers, Padres.
Of course, they'd be in the same division with a realignment because they're right next to each other.
Exactly.
And that's what we're seeing, like the biggest rivalries in sports, because that's how baseball started. It was just your division, or you played whoever was right next to you. Like the Yankees Red Sox, they were successful at a similar time, but they were right across from each other. And so there was that hatred because the fans would go to each other's games.
Bro, just imagine you got the Angels, the Dodgers, the Giants, and the Padres all in one state. And you're just going up and down, up and down, up and down.
That's like they go like, oh, this is the California road. This is the California road stand. And so then the Dodgers would go to each California team, do a 3-game series against each. And it's like, that's a cool thing for the Dodgers fans to do. Like they can just travel with the team for 2 weeks and get off work.
That would sell tickets.
That would sell a lot of tickets, I think, personally. Yeah.
Not the way that California rent's looking. I don't think you'd be able to take it.
No.
$10K for a closet.
Mets broadcaster Howie Rose warned that this could be the last move before total destruction of the traditions that made baseball great. And ex-player Cameron Maybin, who actually played for the Marlins for a little bit, criticized the cautioning rivals and playoff narratives could suffer. Listen, I don't know. They definitely do need to find a way to grab the audience back into baseball. They tried that with the pitch clock and with the extra innings, having a man on second. But I don't know if I like expansion. I don't mind if you expand. But the whole realignment thing, listen, I love National League and American League. It makes sense. Let's just keep it that way.
Yeah, bro. It's kind of like an odd idea at this point. I mean, I kind of like the idea in the All-Star game where it went to extra innings, and instead of just playing the extra innings, it was just a home run derby. At least make that for the regular season, and then make the playoffs. Okay, now you have to play the innings because the games actually, matter at that point. But it would be fun, bro. You have at the end of the games, if it's tied, you have your best sluggers battle it out. Whoever hits the most home runs, boom, there you go. Easy as that. 1, 2, 3. That would be interesting. Everybody gets to catch a home run ball. They get to see their best players who wins the battle. That's entertaining. You're supposed to be in the entertainment business. If you're in the sport business, then you wouldn't be making that much money. Right. That's why they're losing audience every year and the ratings go down. So I think they should go with that the All-Star idea. I think I really enjoyed it. We were watching it in DC.
That was the best part of the game.
Bro, it was – and Paul Goldschmidt, I mean, shout out to him, bro. That guy was whacking it that day.
I would think I would keep that for regular season. I don't know if I would include that for the playoffs.
I think playoffs you should make it as hard as possible. There should be no one on base during the playoffs. There should be there's a reason the strike zone shrinks. There's a reason Greg Maddux struggled in the playoffs for years. It should be harder to do everything in the playoffs.
There's no more better feeling watching a baseball game in the playoffs or the World Series, and there's 2 outs, a man on third. Oh. This could win it, and the count's 3-2. There's nothing better than that pressure situation.
I think of that Rajah Davis home run. That's all I think about. I think of that home run. That was one of the coolest moments in my life because I'm like, oh, it's Aroldis Chapman and Rajah Davis. And then he hits the camera. That was so awesome. It gives me chills thinking about it. The Lindor home run, the one that goes viral. where everyone's screaming. Like, baseball is beautiful, and I feel like the players are like the people that are purists of it overlook parts of it to make the game possibly better. Like, MLB's in a weird spot with their playoffs where it's like the division matters, but because there's 3 wildcard teams, the division doesn't matter that much. And so you're getting into a thing where it's kind of like the NBA, where it's like, let's be honest, I watch basketball, and I don't know who's in every division. I can't name each one because that's not what matters. Because your seeding doesn't matter because you won your division. It matters just because you made the playoffs. And in baseball, it doesn't matter who you really face that first round because anything could happen in a game.
Yeah.
You know,
I think the problem with baseball is, and why people don't pay attention too much to it and why ratings could be down, is there's 162 games in a season. People watch opening day and they probably don't watch again until the start of the playoffs. Because
I'm gonna add to that, and also the scheduling is absolutely atrocious. Who schedules opening day on a Tuesday? And I may agree. There's too many games in the year, and then plus, like, who wants to go to a baseball game on a Thursday night, Wednesday night when they got work the next day? They should just make games a weekend thing. Let everybody go spend their money on the weekends when they're free. They would enjoy it more. And since you have less games, they have more time to travel and rest. There'd be less injuries, and I think the players would go for it. I mean, they already want the less games.
I mean, I guess that depends on the city and the sport, because if for example, we're talking about soccer, and most of these cup games are on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're talking about Champions League, a big Champions League game. Ain't nobody cares about work the next day. That stadium's packed. It's the Champions League.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, I don't care about work when I'm watching a 12-10 afternoon baseball game on a Thursday. If I'm missing my Marlins versus Brewers game in the middle of the afternoon. No, but seriously, though, look, I think that if you want to talk about the innovation of baseball, because I think, home run derby, deciding factor in an all-star game, obviously keep that. The playoffs in itself, there should be no reason to advertise it. It's the playoffs. But Jonka's right, though. The scheduling is ridiculous because even think it's bad in the regular season. The Rays had to play a do-or-die wild card game on a Tuesday at 3 p.m. at home in front of, 1/5 of an audience. You know what I mean? So they got to do a better marketing job, better figure out what's going on with schedule for playoffs, because that's the one time playoffs, you can't mess up playoffs. So they got to do better. Talking about playoffs?
Playoffs.
And then before we change the topic, I think one thing they could do is for certain matchups in the schedule, make it seem that it's okay if it's going to be a long weekend for, let's say Labor Day weekend like this coming up. Make it so that the series is against a rival team or a good storyline or something to make fans look forward to that weekend when you say, okay, it's a long weekend, I can afford to go. I don't have work the next day, I can go. Make it work. If you're going to keep the 162 games, if not, change it. That's me.
I guess how many games would you take off then? Because when you look back at history and you look at numbers, because that's a big thing is for that Hall of Fame. Because I think the Baseball Hall of Fame, I know we're getting off the division realignment. Sorry about that, but the Baseball Hall of Fame, I think is the most prestigious Hall of Fame in sports. You look back and you go, if you make it a 162 game season, you bring it down to 120 games. 124 games.
Wait, you think the MLB Hall of Fame is the most prestigious
compared to basketball and football? Yes.
I don't know, man. I think the NFL
Eli Manning. If Eli Manning is going to be an NFL Hall of Famer, which looks like he'll probably be a second or third ballot Hall of Famer, it's more prestigious. Don't get me wrong. Should Barry Bonds be in the Hall of Fame? Yes. But.
I mean,
are we arguing about Eli Manning being in the Hall of Fame?
Okay, wait, we're off topic.
Wait.
I think we might as well make this the rest of the hour.
Hitting a baseball in the MLB is the hardest thing in sports.
And here's Jonka still talking about. Did you not just hear this guy?
I know where he's coming from. I know where he's coming from because it's so hard to get into the MLB, and for you to be a top player to make the Hall of Fame is even harder, especially playing at an all-time high for like 15 years is super hard. I can see why. I can see why.
Brandon,
We're
he
gonna talk
doesn't
about
want
this
to
after
talk
the
about
podcast.
it.
It's gonna be
He
fun.
doesn't want to talk about it because Eli Manning beat his Patriots twice in the Super Bowl.
2 Super Bowls
Hey, I think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
in
I
New
think he
York. What was the last person that won 2 anything in New York in this century?
Oh my god, he actually said it. He said he should be in. Oh no, we got to change the topic. Go to the next thing, please.
Oh my god, we'll talk after about this. We'll
We'll talk after.
Oh, for sure. This is a topic.
Mom and dad are gonna have a
for
talk with John.
This is a topic for another day. But talking about football, this is it. The preseason is over. We're heading towards week 1 of the NFL season, and I'm not going to lie, it looks kind of scary for the Miami Dolphins heading into week 1 against the Indianapolis Colts at Lucas Oil Field in Indianapolis. There was a lot of cuts today, and there's some injury news that was very big. The man that most people in Miami have a shrine for, and no, it's not Tua Tagovailoa or maybe Dan Marino, but no, it's Jason Sanders, who's going to be out 4 to 5 weeks with an undisclosed injury. I believe they said it was a hip.
Yep.
Adam Schefter, they didn't want to disclose that, but Adam Schefter disclosed it. Then we got Jalen Wright, who's out. Liam Eichenberg is still out. What's going to happen here? Yeah, what's going to happen here week 1?
Yeah, I still feel confident for the Dolphins because, again, we're talking about Daniel Jones. But on top of that, I do want to address as well because for those who know me personally, I'm the biggest Jason Sanders fan. Real connection with that guy. Best kicker in the NFL. Has been like that for the past decade.
Oh,
Justin Tucker's been erased from the NFL, so we don't talk about him. Don't even mention him.
Brandon Aubrey,
is he that serious?
Brandon, stop,
Bro.
Stop.
1 year.
Jason Sanders put the Dolphins over the Jets into the playoffs twice.
The Jets! You played the Jets!
Either way, so my biggest concern for the Dolphins out of all these injuries is Jason Sanders. Who the hell is the backup kicker at the moment? No one knows. I know who my running back 1 is. And it's Ollie Gordon the third.
That's right.
It's Ollie Gordon the third. I know what's going to happen in my secondary because apparently Jason Marshall Jr. has done so well that Hilton got cut earlier today, a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of vet corners in the secondary end up getting cut earlier today.
Cooked.
But and in the running back room, like Mike Boone's gone, Champlin's gone. All I know is this 9-2 defense is going to save some lives. The pass rush is going to go crazy because Lord knows Daniel Jones can't look up more than 3 seconds when that O-line is going to be eaten alive. But no, on a serious note, though, obviously injuries are not new to the Dolphins to open up a season. This is not the first time we've gone through a year where, bones are brittle. I feel like, last year we're talking about Jalen Ramsey missing time. And on top of that, he'll barely be on the – didn't Aaron Brewer break his hand as well last training camp? So we have situations where guys who are more in important roles on the offensive line and everything were injured. Now, I'm talking about a running back room. I think they'll live. Jason Sanders is my big concern because who the hell is the backup? How accurate are we going to be? So that's my real concern right now. And that's honest to God. I need Jason Sanders, not for fantasy football purposes, even though yes, but I need him back soon.
I'm not worried about Jason Sanders' injury. I'm not the biggest Jason Sanders fan because yes, he hits game winners. He does hit game winners. That's the only thing that's saving him. I wanted this man gone 2 years ago because he can't make a 50-yard field goal. He can't do it. He's one of the worst 50-yard kickers in the league.
That and the Eli comments were
He's one of the worst 50-yard kickers in the league.
Thank you, Blake. Wow, Brandon Aubrey's out here hitting from 75 yards.
Yeah, but he's a Cowboy. He doesn't count.
Unbelievable.
No, who is where's Brandon McManus when you need him? Where's he at?
Where's Borregales?
Bro,
that's who I was gonna bring up. Is I think the Dolphins should. I don't know if he's in the league or with a team, but Borregales, the former UM kicker.
Which one, from last year or the year before that?
The
Well,
brother,
they're
which
brothers,
there's two brothers.
so-
You know what?
They're brothers.
Get both of them.
Yeah, both
The
of them
one,
have them both
the
try
one
out.
from that from last year is on my
Yeah.
Patriots right now.
Yeah. Okay, so he is. Then the older brother isn't. With
He's
them.
free, I think. He's a free agent, I think.
He's
if I'm
free.
correct.
He's not as accurate as his younger brother that's on the Patriots, but he has way more leg than his brother. So that's at least someone that you could throw in that I'm too worried about. The secondary is terrifying. Mike Hilton not having a job, and I don't think Mike Hilton's the best corner or really that good in general. The secondary is horrendous. I think we're going to see the issues that we saw in like week 12 to like week 15 last year where we put Ramsey in zone and then they just started throwing 4-yard passes that would go for 9 yards against us. That's what's going to happen every single game, I think, at the start of the year. Maybe we figure it out. Maybe we find out, hey, maybe we just bring 5 every single play and we pray that Jalen Phillips or Bradley Chubb win outside and Zach Sealer wins his 1-on-1 against a guard. And
Every
then
play.
figure something out. But this Dolphins team, I see more 6-11 than 11-6. And the issue is there's a lot more things to fix than a lot more things to pad up. Like that O-line's bad too. In the article I wrote, I talked about it, but I think I have to. It is that O-line is so bad. It's almost emotionally so bad that we can't. We've been trying to draft O-line since 2016, and we can't do it. And I got to sit down, guys. I got to relax. Someone go else. I'm gonna get emotional in a second. I'm getting emotional. How do we suck for almost 3 decades? How is it possible?
A whole lot of injuries. It's a whole lot of injuries.
It's a lot of injuries, but
It's been a lot of injuries.
Yeah, and a lot of dumb decisions too. I will say. I'm not gonna lie.
Look, I'm not.
Nick Saban is the head coach.
Yeah, Nick. See, that was a crazy 500 record too.
The best decision the Dolphins have made in this half century has been getting Cameron Wake. Period.
Oh yeah,
I can't deny that.
that's true.
Yeah. Shout out Cameron Wade. No
Bro,
one should
like
be
I said,
wearing 91.
Our best decision's a CFL player. Great. Great. Nice.
John, are you sure it wasn't drafting Tua?
That's the worst decision. I was against that from the beginning.
You were against it from the beginning.
Bro, the guy was injury prone coming out of college. Why is it that the Dolphins love to draft injury prone quarterbacks and they complain that he's injury prone in the NFL? It's like they're oblivious to the obvious.
No, Jonka, I'm sorry. I got receipts. You and me were very opposite of it because I made a top 5 quarterback list and I put Justin Herbert over Tua. You like Tua for the Dolphins, and now we're flipped where I'm defending Tua, and then you're ready to see this guy, kick rocks in year 6.
Justin Herbert has had a good receiving core, but the most terrible coaching situation in the NFL, besides like the Jets and maybe the Bengals at the situation. Like now all of a sudden he gets a good head coach. They draft good players, and all of a sudden now they're on the come up and the Dolphins are on the go down. Justin Herbert has not had a winning situation. That defense was basically the Bengals, but now they're getting better. Now the Bengals are just like good offense, bad defense.
Blake, you okay down there?
It's yin
He
yang.
hasn't had so he had an offensive head coach for 3 years.
And no defense. That's why they gave him like a 30
but he had a good pass rush. Like Khalil Mack's still
and they
good.
traded Khalil Mack. They traded him.
Yeah, because they realized, you know what? Maybe Justin Herbert's not that guy. No, I'm kidding. No, but trust me, on draft day, I was sitting on my couch going, look, I'm going to be honest, for this team, Justin Herbert's better in this organization. But once they draft Tua, then it's like, all right, got to draft O-line, and it just hasn't worked.
Thing is, if you're going to have Tyreek, right, and you're going to have Waddle, and you have explosive players, why not get the bigger arm and the more, and I'm not going to say more accurate, but like just as accurate. You can make better plays. He's taller, stronger, and doesn't get concussed every 2 plays.
Hey, he's taking.
the
Relax. He's taking
part-
now, buddy. He's taking.
Yeah.
Now.
But the concussed part is not even like. Yeah, but that's not even on him though. That's more O-line. The one year he had a good O-line, he led the NFL in passing yards, and then got the Dolphins to the playoffs. Didn't play in that playoff game.
Leading the league in passing yards, that stat is so overblown. When we all know it was basically like 20, 50-yard bombs to Tyreek every game, bro. Like,
and that's all,
bro.
That's all they needed. That's all
and
they
still
needed.
didn't win God squat.
Look, I'm just saying
But then Peyton Manning's 13, 14 seasons useless because all he would do is just throw Emmanuel Sanders posts because Demaryius Thomas was underneath.
That too.
Oh wait, let's not compare Peyton Manning to Tua, bro. That's disrespectful.
I'm comparing yards.
Yeah, hey, the numbers are there. The numbers are there. But I'm telling you though, for Tua, and I always echo this one as one of the sayings about the NFL teams that find themselves struggling. It's usually never the quarterback. You give him a goal O-line, he is a top 10, top 15 current NFL quarterback. If the O-line's not there, the team is bound to lose games week by week by week. I mean, you're talking about he goes down and the whole team's in shambles, scrambling around to see what happens.
I think the Dolphins' run defense is going to be good because they have a good defensive line and then they added Kenneth Grant from the draft. But I think what's going to make her, yeah, he's been really good. But I think what's going to make or break this O-line is the rookie Jonas Savaianea. If he ends up being a flop, that O-line's going to go down real fast.
It's real fast. The issue is that it's more than Austin Jackson's already injured.
That was the only. I think that was the only lineman they picked up in the draft.
But the issue is with the Dolphins is with that O-line. Austin Jackson's already injured. That's your starting right tackle. When he plays at right tackle, he's actually not a bad tackle. He's pretty good, but he's already injured. Patrick Paul is the slowest person I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen someone slow. He looks like Jesse Davis out there. Jeez. I don't even know if you guys. I hate Jesse Davis. I'm sorry. That's a personal vendetta against him. It's just and in pass pro run blocking, they look fine on outside zones because at least our guards are somewhat quick. But in pass pro, it's so bad. They don't know. It's almost like they don't know how to properly kick step. They don't know like how many steps to take on their kick step before ready to make the impact block. And instead, they're getting bull rush, and so they lose a little bit of their feed. And two is going to get bum rush from up the middle all the time. That's what scares me the most.
The problem I think the Dolphins are going to have this year is because that their DBs are very, the depth is not there, and they're kind of like, not going to say up to par that it should be. I think the teams are going to be like, why would I run the ball against a good D line when I can just throw it over these DBs' heads and just basically get like 10 yards every play? And let's say the Dolphins, it's like, hey, let's add let's say add one or two more in the back. You're just gonna decide to run it because you're not gonna have any other people blocking. So it's like,
yeah, but do you not believe in the pass rush though?
The pass rush is good. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, why would I run it against that pass rush or that against whatever you
do? Would you A, risk your quarterback getting slammed, or B, have your running back take the hits play by play? I think we have teams that go through that motion where is Bradley Chubb not going to get a sack on this guy? Is Chop Robinson not going to get a sack today? Is Phillips not going to be able to get to the quarterback?
I agree with that. They're really good. Now here's the real question we should be asking. Are the Dolphins DBs going to be able to cover other teams' receivers before that ball is out of the quarterback's hands? They're not good enough to hold that for a whole entire game. That's the problem I'm seeing. Maybe in the start of the game when they're fresh, yeah, sure, maybe. But when the game gets tight and everybody's starting to get tired, the receivers are just going to be running everywhere trying to get open, and the DBs are going to be tired after the entire game since they're not that skilled.
No, of course. It's not going to be a man-to-man defensive type of Anthony Weaver defense we're going to see. This is going to be at least more or less of a 3-4 going on zone. I mean, Bonner's been still decent. Hopefully he gets better with his injuries that he's been dealing with the past few years. And then on top of that, Fitzpatrick, the safety room.
Yep.
I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Again, I said before, Jason Marshall Jr. doing nickel now, and he told me the other day it's his first time ever, not even Pee Wee football, he played nickel. So, but Anthony Weaver's known. I mean, when it was in Baltimore, he was known to moving guys in positions that they were uncomfortable with and then exceeding in that. He was known for pushing the envelope for a lot of DBs in that sense. So it's a young group. I think the best case scenario for the Dolphins, especially defensively in the secondary, is that the pass rush is so good, quarterbacks just like lose control and just fling it up like crazy, or the youth actually steps up early.
Blake, I'll give you the final word on this topic.
Yeah, what's going to happen is what I think a lot of teams are going to do against us is that they're going to see we're going to go to a 3-4 and we're going to walk Elijah Campbell down into the box and we're going to say, all right, on first and second down, you're going to have to throw against us because we know that we're bad against the throw. We won't let you run the ball, because if they can run the ball and throw it, then you're screwed. If we can at least stop the run, you at least have a chance, because they can make a mistake throwing. What I think is going to happen is, remember the Bucs offense, Tom Brady's first year there, how they just didn't run the ball. They would just, their throws were their run plays. Anthony Weaver runs a man to a cover 4. He wants to run man one side and almost cover 4 on the other if he could. That's how he likes to run his defense. But that means the DBs have to sag off. You can't play press man. What I think is going to happen is you're going to see a lot of 11 personnel against us where the tight end goes to the weak side of the field and they run screens to the weak side of the field against us because it's a free 3 yards. Because we're off 8 yards. So if it's set, go, snap, and you flick it outside, he's grabbing it at the line of scrimmage. You tell me he doesn't have half a second to get 3 yards? He does. And I think that's what we're going to find is going to be the main issue is that even if we can stop the run, they can just run the ball in another sense. And then if we press up, do you trust Storm Duck one-on-one against a wide receiver 1? I don't yet. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. Like, I want to see Cam Smith play. I think Cam Smith is our best coverage corner. The problem is he can't tackle, and so he can't be out there. So it's the only chance we have is if this O-line is the exact opposite of what I think it is, and that it's at least league average, because we've seen Tua with a league average O-line. This team goes 6-1. It's just what happens. Because Mike McDaniel knows how to call an offense when he has an O-line that can block for at least 2.5 seconds. So I'm interested to see how the first game goes. The first game, I think, will tell us a lot about how our season goes.
And let me remind you, the Colts just drafted Tyler Warren, the tight end, and that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, see if Daniel Jones can find him.
He's a big boy.
Oh, my God.
Jonka, this is a topic you're very passionate about, but Paul Feinbaum guarantees, as Brandon says, Notre Dame will enter Hard Rock Stadium and defeat the Miami Hurricanes.
I mean, if everybody doesn't know who Paul Feinbaum is, he's the Miami hater. Like, in 2017, he said the exact same thing, and we already know what happened. And for any historians that don't know, Notre Dame has not beaten Miami since the 70s. So predicting how this game is gonna end up it's a crapshoot. But I got some stuff here before you guys go. Key names on Notre Dame: running back Jeremiah Love. Obviously, I think he's gonna be RB1 in this year's draft. That guy's really good. Look at his tape; it's crazy. All American. I think he was, and the number one returning corner in the nation, Leonard Moore, and then obviously redshirt freshman CJ Carr. The situation I have with CJ with this game is CJ Carr. It's not the defense, not the O-line or anything from Notre Dame. It's CJ Carr. It's his inexperience at this level. He's never played a snap of college football, and especially heading into his first game being against Miami, and the game is sold out. It's going to be a crazy stadium. Ian Book from 2017, he said that is one of the loudest stadiums he's ever played in. It was absolutely drowning, and the communication was it was bad. That's why they played so bad. I mean, it's going to be hard for CJ. I mean, I'm not going to say he can't play. I think he was a 5-star recruit, so I'm not going to say he can't play at all. And then at the same time, people are talking like Carson Beck is like, it's how do you say, he didn't impress you last year? Yeah, obviously. I'm gonna give you some reasons, some backstory, and then you guys can go. Carson Beck last year, 28 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 3,485 yards. But let me just tell you, he threw 12 interceptions. Kyle McCord, Garrett Nussmeier, and Quinn Ewers all threw 12 interceptions. Just letting you guys know that. Georgia led the nation in drops. So, and with 31 drops, that's crazy. For having a team that recruits so highly with so much money, they had the receivers with the most drops, by the way. The run game was ranked 102nd. Can you guys tell me who was 103rd or 104th? Just for a fun fact. FIU was 103rd and LSU was 104th. Just putting that out there. That's how low the run game is. And the O-line was ranked 51st in the nation. All they do in Georgia is draft linemen, and that's how bad the line was for Carson Beck. That's why he was getting sacked almost every drive. And then they were second in the SEC in rushing yards. Second last in the SEC in rushing yards. So they couldn't go anywhere. And the passing game was dud, and the running game was dud. So Carson Beck basically had to play Superman and try to like duck out at everything in every play. So I'm not gonna take the disrespect that he played a bad year. I mean, 20 touchdowns to 12 interceptions is not bad, but I think this game is gonna come down to quarterback play, and I think Carson Beck has more experience, especially in big games. I think that's gonna be the edge, but not saying that if who knows, TJ Carr could be a phenomenon. He could be the next big thing. So I'm not gonna disrespect him and say that he's no good. I think this game is gonna be mid to low scoring. I think it's gonna be in the 20s. I'm gonna say 27-24 by a field goal.
I think that, yes, Carson Beck is a good quarterback. I saw him pick apart my high school in the state championship. But if you ask me, did Miami improve in that area, in that position? I don't think they did, because Carson Beck is no Cam Ward. So I think they downgraded in that position in the quarterback field. So I'm not a huge fan, but I do think he's good. But I do think that they downgraded in that area for the team.
Yeah, I would say. Oh yeah, wait, Brandon. Before you go. Sorry about that. I think one thing also to bring up is that they did bring in a new defensive coordinator, Corey Heatherman, and apparently he entered up a whole new scheme, and then with a whole new scheme and whole new players, and with the portal and the draft and the recruiting, I think that's going to bring a new element to the game where Notre Dame is gonna have to strategize on a scheme that they haven't seen before. So that's just to put that out there for you guys.
He runs a pro style defense where he does a lot of stunts with linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
This is a team that was playing for a national championship earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
This was a team that has the best running back in college football last year, and you can argue probably the best running back this year coming back. And
Probably
that's not just the
football.
running back, that's the run game. O-line, scheme. This is a Notre Dame team that I hate as a South Floridian, right next to Florida State. And I would only love to see the Hurricanes whoop them at The Rock, which they haven't lost at Hard Rock Stadium in God knows how long. But when it comes down to Paul Fonbon, SEC guys, I'm pretty sure they're aware of what Carson Beck is covering the SEC. Wasn't even the top 3 quarterback in the SEC, next to Nussmeier, next to DJ Lagway, if you want to make an argument there. Is it just Georgia? Was it just Georgia? Now we get to know. And even at Georgia, he was still ass. No offense. I don't really care about numbers. I can see the long neck interception gods were built in a man in Jacksonville, which is him. So that's what I think of Carson Beck. But it's not about Carson Beck. It's about what this Hurricane team looks like. You have a Minnesota Gopher defensive coordinator coming in, obviously going to be more aggressive, but how aggressive are you talking about, when you're going against Notre Dame? I really don't like the Hurricanes in this game, even though I'm still going to root for them. I'm still going to wear my Catholic versus convicts type of shirt from Canes wear. I'm still going to go all out for the Hurricanes in this game. But I'm telling you right now, I'm probably going to church that Sunday because I think the Catholics are going to eat the living crap out of the U. I think Paul Fonbon's on the nose about this one. If you're trying to tell me Penn State had a hard time last year against this Notre Dame team and how many people left that franchise, how many people left that organization last year? Not a lot. So I think Notre Dame has a really good chance. I think they have probably – I wouldn't be surprised if they're heavy favorites.
They're favored, I think, just by like 3.5, if I'm correct.
The line should be
So that's
probably
basically a
7.5.
touchdown. Because home team gets 3 points. That's
I'm telling you right now, Jonka, as much as I want the Canes to win this one, because this would – in hypothetical, if you really want to push from how the Hurricanes were last year, early top 3.
I'm not pushing
seeding.
that. We're holding.
No, I know no one's pushing that, but I'm saying if you beat Notre Dame week 1, it's a whole lot easier. It's a whole lot easier. If you do not beat Notre Dame, but you somehow go on to have a pretty successful schedule, I still don't believe the Hurricanes we put in top 5, even at the last week, even with this Notre Dame game. You know, you have to win this one if you want to push for a top 5, top 4 seed. Again, you could win the ACC, which they haven't done at all in program history, but you really, really need to jump out the gates. And who knows? Like last year with Cam Ward and going against the Gators, no one expected a blowout Hurricanes way. So this could be exactly one of those same stories. No one expects it. Carson Beck becomes a real thing at quarterback, and more importantly, the defense actually shows up against this Notre Dame team. So, again, I kind of agree with Fonbon, but I'm praying he's wrong. Really praying he's wrong.
Yeah, listen, maybe this could be a situation where Carson Beck flowers and strives here in Miami because maybe Georgia was a little too hard for him. The SEC was a little too hard for him. And now he gets to go to a little bit easier conference in the ACC, and he gets to shine, or he just crumbles with the pressure that comes with being the quarterback of Miami that expects to win a national championship every year, even though they haven't been close since 2001. Blake, any final words?
I'm going to be praying UM wins. Grew up as a UM fan, so I'm praying. I don't see us winning in the article I wrote about this UM team.
Mhm.
The one thing I will say is, if we were going to play Notre Dame any game of the season, you're playing them week 1's the best time you could have played them. It's the best time we got them, because that's when you've been practicing like these gadget plays, almost not trick plays, like these gadget plays. You would have been able to practice them, not just throw them in the week before and you do it like 3 or 4 times on the Wednesday. I think you're going to see the UM O-line play very good. I think you're going to see the UM D-line play very good. And you're going to see the linebackers play a decent role. I still don't think they're the best linebacking room, but I think you're going to see some good play. I really don't believe in Carson Beck. I don't like him that much. I don't think he's a great person from what I see and all that. And I know for me personally, I expect my quarterback to be someone that's very likable. And I don't find Carson Beck as a likable person. I just feel like that makes a team not want to play for your quarterback as much. Like after every loss last year, the team was going like, Cam was awesome. We were trying out there for Cam because they know how good he was. They know that that those guys meant everything. You can even see in the interviews he does with Tennessee that he's a team guy. I don't see Carson Beck as that. I think I see this game going 31-24 Notre Dame, and then UM probably gets the ball last in reception.
Okay, that's not. I mean, that's now. Before we finish off, I was going to say, Brandon, it's funny how you say you don't care about numbers, but until it comes about Tua, but that's a side.
Hey, NFL's a little different, all right, because you say these numbers when he's playing at Georgia. Tua's not playing for the Chiefs. He's playing for the Dolphins, putting those numbers. Hey. Now, if Carson Beck's able to go with the Hurricane jersey, and again, I'm praying they win week 1 because I hate Notre Dame. Even if Notre Dame's going against NIU, I'm going for NIU wearing the jersey of NIU. But
I wanted to say something to you about you said something about what was it, bro? I don't want to take too much time, but it was well, I was gonna say the one thing, the situation with Miami right now is there's a lot of question marks. Is Carson Beck gonna mesh with the team? I mean, they've been practicing, but he just came back from an arm injury. New receivers, and then the D line has depth, but not as depth what we want it to. And then plus, like the defense with the new head coach, with the new defensive coordinator, is it gonna work out? So there's a lot of question marks. So I wouldn't be surprised if Notre Dame does win this game. Now, here we go, Brandon. Obviously, if they lose this game, getting to top 5 is going to be difficult. Now, if the game was, like I said, like a 3-point game, vice versa, whoever wins that game, it's a close game, and it was back and forth from both teams. With a respectable loss,
No.
Even though it's non-conference, though?
Bet an L. No.
I would say, and that is a good point as well. That is a very good point as well.
Because losing to NIU last year, I don't know how Notre Dame even made it to the playoffs.
I mean, they won every game after. They won
Exactly,
every game
that's what
after.
I'm saying.
They won it, but they won those games like big.
So you're
Yeah.
saying that Miami would win every game after that? Is what you're saying?
No,
Well,
I'm saying a hypothetical.
Yeah, hypothetical. So I would say, because look, I think down the line, I think the biggest thing that Miami, besides obviously winning majority of the season or whatever, the biggest thing is winning the conference, and that means beating out Clemson, who's already a top 5 team. So if that comes to be the case, then absolutely, because that means an ACC championship or you beat out Clemson to it. Now, for Notre Dame, though, how good is Notre Dame? If it's a close loss week 1, I think the committee's going to look at it and say, yeah, I mean, Canes hosted it. It was close. This is a top 25 matchup, top 10 really. But at the same time, the gap, it's a little close. But Notre Dame isn't number 1 in the nation. Notre Dame isn't Ohio State. Notre Dame isn't Texas. Like Notre Dame is cream of the crop, but they're not a top. So that's what I was making the argument of being at least out of the top 5. At least out of the top 5.
I think the ranking being so high is because this is our first game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They're always ranked in the beginning of the year, and it just crashes and burns as the year.
But this high, I don't think we are as good as our ranking says at this point. I think we got ranked this high because if we go in and we lose by 7 points, they're like, okay, we can put them where we actually want them at like 17.
Or something like that, yeah.
I think that's where we should have been at least. Yeah. At least 17 to 20 should have been a respectable after losing Restrepo and Cam Ward and everybody else.
I mean, again, AP, I don't know what AP was doing previously. I mean, look at Oklahoma in the top 25. You know what I mean? Like, they have a lot of teams out there that.
How did Ohio State, who won the national championship, not be number 1? That already disqualifies them to me.
The Manning name. That's it.
Yeah. Do not disrespect the Manning name. Sarkisian fought for that.
That's crazy. Guys, we did all this fighting for 1 season of Arch Manning.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, guys, that's going to be all the time we have tonight. This was a great episode. Remember, next week we're taking a week off for Labor Day. So hope everyone enjoys their long weekend, enjoys college football this weekend. Enjoy the rest of your week, of course. And we'll see you guys in about 2 weeks for episode 198. Have a great night.